Chapter 6 Hawkins Mansion. Pierce woke up in an asylum installed in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. He met Dr. Colton, a female friend of Bradley who helped him to escape, which I found interesting because Bradley was one of the ones who wanted him in there in the first place. Wandering through the corridors of this place where Dr. Fuller reigned supreme, Pierce was able to talk to a man called Francis Sanders. Before dying in full view of the detective, he accused Sarah Hawkins of being the cause of his torments. Pierce finally left the accursed building, accompanied by Bradley and Colton. The companions in misfortune decided to use the Hawkins mansion as a hideout.
Who goes there? That nightmare again. I need a drink.
I can tell you this, I'm glad that part's over. In all honesty, I don't like it at all. Patience between afterlives. In all honesty, I truly didn't like that part. It was not scary in any way, it was only frustrating. It gave me Outlast vibes, but at the same time it wasn't like Outlast at all. Another thing to consider for this game, as far as the future of it goes, this guy just escaped from an insane asylum. And unlike a lot of real ones back in the day, it didn't seem to be like, oh, the staff didn't seem to be overdone. So I wonder if it's going to be a point in the future where people actually come after this guy since he escaped. I mean, this guy right now is officially an escaped asylum patient. I mean, as soon as this game threw supernatural shit into the mix, it pretty much entered Outlast territory.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Like shit.
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the Force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
Really? Okay, that bothers me. I'm gonna pause this. That bothers me. Here's why. It's telling me I have to be professional level at occultism for that dialogue option. That's fucking stupid. Here's why. You already know. Based on what based on what Francis Sanders says, you know that she was. Why in fuck would okay? If you have to have the occult leveled up to a certain degree, right? Like, if that dialogue option is locked, unless, let's say, you read about it because of the occultism, I get it. But this was information that was told to you. I don't know. I mean, okay, I'm not even gonna get into it. I'm just gonna say that is fucking stupid. So apparently, if a fucking scientist tells you how fucking rain works, then you're not allowed to know how rain works unless you're a fucking scientist yourself. That's not the best example at all, but that's my point. Like, it's so fucking stupid. Somebody told you that she's the subject of a fucking cult. How the fuck do you have to be an expert in the occultism to fucking know that? You already oh my fuck. It bothers me so much because I should be able to click on that fucking dialogue option. Jesus fucking Christ. If this was a movie, I would be calling the main character a fucking moron for not mentioning what the other guy fucking told him. Oh my fuck. Fuck it, I might be onto it. Honestly, I don't even give a fuck anymore.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
tell me how
I
Mr.
can.
Sanders died.
Be fucking honest.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
Yeah, and he also mentioned the fact that she's in the fucking cult. So why the oh my fucking. This is an investigative game with fucking horror elements, and yet the game is preventing me from being able to make further progress on the investigation because of occultism, which isn't necessary.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
Just say that she fucking died. Nah, fuck that.
He's right. We can't ignore the truth.
But it could drive her mad.
Better madness than ignorance. Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
First off, what the fuck is fucking Mr. Bradley's angle in all this? I'm so confused. And second, okay, you can just say the motherfucker died without explicitly stating how the motherfucker died. Oh.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Dude, what's the deal with you? Okay, we were here earlier, got you. You got impaled, and then you're somehow still alive, and then you want me in the Institute, and then you don't. I don't understand this guy at all. Chapter 6, Sanders' Residence. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley decided to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter, who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about the Shambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders? I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well,
Fuck.
Look who's here. You know each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, Detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
He started raving, screaming that a dimensional Shambler had found him.
Oh, mercy, that story again. Why have him interned?
That was when he began to convulse and twist with pain. Or terror, it's hard to tell.
I beg your pardon?
I'm not really sure of what I saw, or what I didn't see. But it's best that you weren't there.
I should have been there. What you're telling me is outrageous. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
Mrs. Sanders, I understand your grief, and I extend my deepest condolences to you. But I had nothing to do with the death of your husband. I've just arrived on Darkwater. I'm investigating the death of the Hawkins family.
The death of the Hawkins family? You mean it was not an accident? This accursed island knows only tragedy after tragedy. You too would be advised to flee it like the plague. Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A Shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it, I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I count on ridding myself of that thing as soon as I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
I can tell you that one thing I do dislike about this game, as far as the option choices goes, is that it only lets you choose one option. Like at this point, like even after talking about the Shambler, I should have been able to backtrack and talk about Cat again anyway. So I don't like that aspect of this. I don't like that aspect of it for two reasons. One, because it's just a weird part of gameplay. And two, because this is an investigative game. I mean, you'd think he'd be able to talk about every option available to him. But I guess not.
Did she really care for him after all?
Letter of refusal. Dear Madam, I acknowledge receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I am sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. At the moment of his internment, you sign a discharge, allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you, Thomas Fuller. In other words, I want to use his body for my own purposes, so fuck you.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
And if you had one motherfucker ranting and raving about the same shit for a long time, then I think you might be the same way.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
More than friends, even? I mean, the reason why I say that, it seems to me that Sarah Hawkins' husband wasn't exactly the nicest to her, so maybe she took a different avenue. And if he got so obsessed with the painting, and it was her painting, and a lot of people seem to not like her paintings, well then,
A house of artists.
just saying.
Xander's accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
Well then, why sell the painting?
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel? Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
Well, yeah. I'd say so.
The Shambler. I need to see it.
Indeed you do, good sir.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Huh. And you're just gonna take it? I don't remember where she said the Shambler was, so oh, that look, is that it? Dissertation on anatomical question.
A strange Amerindian pendant. I could use one of those. Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Dear Francis, I beg you to give up all hope of ever owning this accursed painting. If our friendship is any meaning to you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. Forget the Shambler, your friend Sarah Hawkins. Well, she capitulated.
An old diary.
This volume spends some time on Reverend whatever's community. His wife expresses her worries about the whatever, about the strange dreams that her reverend's congregation are having since their arrival on the island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe. Ah.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. One connected to the horrors I've discovered on this island.
What a surprise. I'm listening.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
Well, maybe to some people. Huh. Why would I need to hide in here? Unless I come back here later on. Wait, that is for hiding, right? Yeah. You must come back here again if there's a thing for hiding in here.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
Gotta say, the Sanders family is one
The man
hell
transformed
of a
an
collector.
entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
That's what I was about to say, but not in those words. Like, these guys are some hardcore collectors. Hmm. Hmm. I stand corrected. Maybe you don't have to come
What
back
the hell
here.
was that?
Maybe it's just that.
I can't even touch it. Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger.
Maybe. So far, so good.
Damn it! Let him come out of this painting. Damn. This dagger looks different.
What's the matter with you? You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Once again, these dialogue options are really fucking stupid. The painting was cursed. I can't give her that unless I have enough occultism? Are you fucking kidding me? He just saw it with his own 2 fucking eyes. Jesus fucking Christ.
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
You knew. You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
It's not your style to give me free information like that.
Take it as payment for being my canary. A simple trade-off. Now go see your antique seller. I've still got things to settle with Irene.